Welcome to Wellness Radio with Dr. Jeanette-Gallagher as your host. Her show discusses topics of health, wellness, and spirituality, and is about discovering your place in this great universe, from your cells to the cosmos. Along with her guest, in casual conversation, she strives to ask the difficult questions that may be holding you back from a vibrant life, and shares new ideas that may inspire you to make a change in your life that you only can see in your dreams. And now, here is Dr. Jeanette-Gallagher.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Radio. This is Dr. Jeanette-Gallagher, and it's a pleasure to have you with us here this evening. Tonight we are going to be taking a little sidestep into some joy and delight in a New Age children's book. Truly, it's about being able to say we need to clear our mind, have some moments of peace, go on a different adventure, and say, I just need to chill out, step into another world, and perhaps just feel some other emotions, let some of the tension go in my body and my thoughts, and perhaps just see that there is magic and mystery in this world. That's what a New Age children's book is all about. It's really not always about just reading to children. It is about reading to teens, perhaps reading to the elderly, or even reading it to yourself. Because these books are really about giving us a moment of solace, a moment of peace, and a time to be able to just breathe without any other reason. No outcome, no other place we have to be, or any hardships or things we have to, quote, do. And even so, you don't need to take notes on this, and isn't that wonderful? Sometimes it's time to just delight in the moment. Tonight, my guest is Elisabeth Revel. She's the co-author of the book Hillary and the Ladybug Butterflies. Elisabeth, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so delighted to be on your show and have a chance to talk about this book.
I'm so glad to have you, because don't you think that when we talk about these, I call them New Age children's books, because truly it's not writing about the frog and the princess anymore. It's about a life story. Don't you think that we're looking at children's books in a different way?
Absolutely. I believe it's time, we see these stories coming from a different point of view, especially for little girls who need to see that it's okay to get out there and be the main role in your story, taking a part in your future, in your adventures. It's okay to do something different.
Yeah, it's really cool, because I think also, too, the books are not written in, well, there are many books that are essential for very young children. The book is written definitely for a child that's a little bit older. But as I shared in the beginning, I just love when New Age children's books can go to an elder home, a nursing home, or a place where people might be having memory issues. Or it's a place where someone just needs to connect with a moment of time, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's good to have even a young person come and read those stories.
Right.
If they want to volunteer and do that. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it really is. I think it gives you an outlet to be able to read the books to elders, and I think it's so important that we try to connect, because sometimes elders need to say, the kids are coming to me to read, what are they going to read? But it's
right.
something that will not only draw in both the generations. Don't you think that's what we're calling these New Age children's books, is more about, can we draw in more of the generations and have a story and a conversation?
Absolutely. Even like my father and my daughter, they came together with this story also. We all kind of, as we're writing these or coming up with the ideas, we like to talk about them. And, we take all of the ideas and all of the points of view and try to throw in a little bit of everything, so it could be interesting to everyone.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool too, because it really is from many different perspectives. we all have such different perspectives these days versus saying we're going to take the old stories, of generations before and try to incorporate them into today's, perspective. And then we wonder why kids are saying this doesn't make sense, or they're not really paying much attention. They're kind of always living in a fantasy land that they can't even pick up a story or a lesson or maybe a thread of an emotion that should come forth. Isn't that what we want nowadays versus maybe the old generational books?
Yeah, we definitely need to see a moral in the story, or be able to connect to some sort of value, but also with a different spin in case the world does change, people change, points of view change, society changes. But I think the key morals stay the same about about doing the right thing,
right,
being able to still ask questions and find out the answer, and just being able to take a journey without it, letting it be your journey,
right.
and not just someone else telling you what to do.
I think it's also true. The idea is that things don't have to always end up bad. Sometimes some stories, they end up, it's really bad, and the shame and guilt, kind of comes out. But really, we're looking for adventure stories that you can power through this. You've got it. You've got the tools already inside of you to be able to accomplish an adventure, to journey through a story, to find out something new that maybe has never been there before, or to solve a mystery. Do you think maybe that when we want to do that, that's a really good place to start? Because your book is all about solving a mystery and saying, no, we can do this. Let's go see, right?
Right. This one, Hillary, the little ladybug, she has her friend, Tiny Tim, and they start exploring when they were told, first of all, not to go somewhere, or that these other creatures don't exist. And so curiosity gets to them, and stubborn, or maybe they're stubborn, but she had to see for herself, and she has to find out her answer to her questions. And it's scary when it gets them into a little trouble, but they make their way out of it. They use their own, they use their resources, they use their minds, they figure things out for themselves. And even though they're supposed to be kids, that's why I wanted to make sure, I mean, these stories like this, it takes courage to be brave enough to ask questions and to do something, even though you were scared to do it. And they come out of it finding out a lot of interesting things about these other creatures that existed, but they never knew they existed, and everyone thought it was a myth, basically.
I think also, too, in the beginning of the story, it's truly about, when they said that, oh, no, you can't go do that, or this is the end of the story. I think sometimes we want to pick it up and say, can we take that thread and weave some other kind of tapestry? In other words, can we pick it up and go on a different journey? Perhaps maybe someone's perception, someone's story that's been long held, we kind of have been just passing those on. Instead, what your book is truly doing is saying, oh, I hear what you're saying, but let's try this a different way. Let's see if there's something more. Picking up that thread to be able to go find out some more information and go on a journey. Isn't that what we want kids to start excelling at, is taking whatever is said, not as truth and as dogma, but as maybe an open window?
Absolutely. I definitely want to encourage all kids to, not just obey and do what you're told, but take what's already there and continue on with it. Go further, ask more questions, find out more information, discover something new so that you're not stuck in the old.
Yeah, I think that is so cool because, There's so many things these days, I'm over 65, and I've always been the type person who always says, why? What's it about? And always asking those questions, But yet I have people around me that said, oh, stop asking that. It's like ridiculous. It's like too much. Because they've been very stuck in that. So I think no matter what your generation is or your age, you can always say, but what if? Isn't that what we want to maybe, we really want to kind of unbox that box of secrets, so to speak, no matter who's listening to the story. What if, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost as if your subtitle of your book should be, so the What If series, right? What if we did this? Right. What if there was that? What if maybe it's something different? Or what if we didn't use our mind? What if we didn't have limitations? What if we could conceive of something that's a dream or a thought? How do you take a child on that adventure?
You really have to paint the picture and let them explore in there until they get their own way out of it, you know what I mean? Like I even wanted to I did this little picture book. The first book I did on my own for my daughter was a new nursery rhymes book. And, I just drew pictures and put together this book. And it was just simple. It didn't have to be perfect. I want to encourage people to do things and complete things without it really needing to be perfect or how it's supposed to, be. And so that, start anywhere and get it done so that it encourages others. Because, I saw something when I was young, a friend or a sibling did something or wrote a book or drew a picture. And, it encourages people to do that, do the same thing or see what they can do,
Yeah, and I think right in the beginning of your book, that's exactly what your first character did. The little ladybug, the female ladybug. She was painting a picture to have someone come with her. This is my adventure.
Yeah.
This is what it might look like. Isn't that exciting? Would you like to come along with me? And he did, right?
Absolutely. The little ladybug, Hillary, she's that way on purpose, kind of like a role model for little girls. And I named her after Hillary Clinton.
Cool.
Because she's been a role model. But just because, she's a woman and she was running for president,
Right,
these are things that we need to see so that we can be encouraged to have that spirit in us and be leaders.
Yeah, I think it's truly about stepping up, too, because we see this, too, a lot of times people will say, oh, but I'm afraid to because... And those are old limitations. So I think if you could step out and you could say, how can I be different? Isn't that my uniqueness? I think sometimes we want to say that when we want to be raise kids that are unique, we really want them to be liked, or we really want other people to come around them and support them and validate them. But in essence, do we want to be part of the crowd? Or perhaps do we want to be unique? I think that's something that we have to inbred into children, both sides of that.
That's a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's really hard because you really do want to be seen and heard and liked, but you really do want to be unique. Do you think these stories is about bringing out your uniqueness? Might be not just looking unique. It might be I can troubleshoot. I can go on an adventure. I can think of something differently and be able to be strong in those kinds of qualities in our children.
Right, and not just do what, not just act or live like you are a person who has to play a role, or you are just, here to do what you're told.
Right, yes, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's really wonderful what your character does is about saying, well, I don't know. And they take all the little puzzle pieces. I think also, too, there's a really distinct thread through your book is about paying attention. Because Hillary the Ladybug really does pay attention. When she gets told about the story in the beginning, when she shares about what she saw in the sky, we don't want to tell the whole story, but we'll tell pieces. When she goes and reports it to someone, she got a little piece. This is how it used to be. This is the end of the story. Don't do it. But she got a piece. When she went in the cave, she found another piece. And when she went in, she tried to escape. She found another piece. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's also, too, can you take the pieces of the puzzles and what does a piece of a puzzle look like? Isn't that truly a wonderful quality in your book is noticing, ooh, that's a key. It's almost as if we should write on the bottom of the page, key 1, key 2, and like link them all together, right?
Well, thanks. Yeah, I really do like that that when she goes and finds out something, it just sparks her curiosity. It's kind of like in life how something just gets your attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in real life we don't get to do those things that right away. We don't get to just hey, this is it, and then go to the next step. To try to follow something through. Not as quickly, but that's really the hope, for me and my life, for kids, for anyone, for everyone. I hope that they have these questions and they get to figure them out for themselves. I encourage the journey to figure out whatever your heart desires or whatever issues you need to get through, or anything. In life.
Absolutely. And also, too, I think the idea is that there's never an end. In other words, when they are in a place and they feel like they're going to be there for the rest of their life, so to speak,
right.
The answer is no. There is no end in life. There's only a different road to maybe go down, or there's a different way to learn how to fly, or there's a different way to learn how to get out of a tunnel. Don't you think? Mm-hmm. To always teach children that the end is not just, a roadblock in front of you. It's about creating another space and time to exist. That's what your really story is about, yeah.
Yeah, it's not to get stuck in that place. If you feel like you're stuck or you feel like there's no solution, there's no way out, always take a breath, look around, figure it out. There's a way out, and there's a way through.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because it's so important to instill these qualities into children. And almost we say, someone had said to me at one time that, maybe this is the way the kid is born. And I'm going, no, they're not. They just didn't have their nightlight turned on. You know what I mean? I think everybody has potential to be, do, and to exhibit strength at a certain time. But also, too,
Absolutely.
At another time, it might be that they don't have the strength and they need support. Or at another time, it might be that they need, a community, or they need the army to come help them, So I think, don't you think that? I think sometimes we say, but this is the way or who you are, and the answer is no. Because those labels even limit kids. If we say, you're a strong one, you can always forge through, and then one day they can't, and they're going, what do I do now? Right?
Right. We can't keep everyone in a box, and we really, by labeling and doing that stuff and not just letting people be,
mm-hmm.
We have to make sure that we're not labeling in the wrong way too much, too.
Yeah.
To hurt them, because if Hillary had been told, in the book, if this little lady butterfly had been told that she couldn't fly, then she would have never flew, even though she had wings. What were her wings for then? Just decoration?
Right. But also, too, at the end, when the story actually comes to an end, she doesn't really come out as a hero carrying a crown, so to speak. She's just someone who had an experience and helped everyone and moved on. And I think that's so vitally important, because if we turn around and we uphold and put things on a pedestal, it's almost as if we're always living and trying to stay in that space and time. And that's not a human life, don't you think?
Because it's like individually we all are like that. We're on our own, but we always need to realize there's other people also. And we all can come together to help each other out, to figure out the problem. And it's good to encourage teamwork.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what I really liked about the book, too, is that there's a lot of white space. And I talk about this all the time in a New Age children's book. If you're reading to someone, date it, and make sure you put the year down and put your initials, and write a story on the pages. If you're looking at something and, your grandchild or something, or maybe an elder says something, write it down there. Use it as your living journal. Use it as a living journal, and then, it can be passed on. And really, that's so much...
That's a great
idea. Vitally important to have a children's book become that living journal, because we toss books, we read them, we toss them to the side, and it's not any more of importance. For this radio show, I always say I have to have a hard copy book, because I read the whole book, I write in the pages, I fold the pages down, and it's a living journal. I have touched the story. Do we want not our children to touch the story, to bring us in, and to be able to share? And why not record it, right?
Exactly, and it's great to be able to go look again and see what you even wrote, what you thought, and what you felt while you read it.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you're clearing out the closets or the bookcases, and people are saying, well, let's give this away, because they flip through it and there's nothing touchable there. But I'll tell you, if you have a book that's touchable and you've been writing in it, they're like, no, we're not giving that up. We're keeping that. We're holding on to that. So doesn't that really make a mark, in someone's life?
It does, because it'll help them carry on that story, and it'll be there longer.
And you know what? Even for elders, I would challenge. As we're coming up in the summer, of the year 2022, I would encourage children to take this book, go to have a service project, so to speak, for the summer. How many elders can you read
to?
And then on
That's
each
a
page.
Good challenge.
Yeah, on each page, have an elder say something, and you could write it down there. And then at the end, they can write the elder's name and perhaps the date and maybe how old they are. And wouldn't that be so wonderful to say, I touched the soul of so many other people with a story?
Absolutely. That's a great challenge. You've encouraged me to do that, even. I'm going to take my daughter, and we're going to do that this summer.
Yeah, I think that how many souls can we touch? I find this. We've just come off several years of a lot of people saying with hardships, and truly, what we're talking about is, can we touch other people in a way that's deeper, versus just, hey, let me just toss you a lunch, or hey, just wave to them. We want to engage with other people in their heart and their mind and their soul, and that's where New Age children's books come in, don't you think?
Absolutely. A deeper understanding, deeper connection, and it makes life worth living. It makes everything brighter.
Yeah, it really does, and it actually really brings to life the story. Well, Elisabeth, it was a pleasure to speak with you today to share about this book, because I just think that it doesn't matter how many pages, how many words, or what gender or what generation you're speaking to in a book. I think that everything is valuable that we put down or we construct. So really what we talked about today is really how can we engage all generations in a story and engage in a moment of connection. That's truly what we want, right?
Absolutely, and it was a pleasure speaking with you as well. Thank you so much for giving this book attention, and I do hope it inspires generations.
Absolutely, it will. Elisabeth, can you share with the listeners how to find out more information about your work?
Yes, you can go to GaryRevel.com.
And the book is available on Amazon, correct?
That's right. The book is available on Amazon. Thank you so much.
Very good. I think if you Google Hillary and the Ladybug Butterflies, you come right up to it, and it's a wonderful book. And Elisabeth, it was truly a pleasure to have you with us today. So we thank you so much for sharing with us, because we really want to, I think in the year 2022, if you weren't finding some kind of community or service project, maybe we hope we woke you up today to be able to say, get shaking, people, we got to get going, right?
Absolutely right on.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
If you'd like to find out more information about the book Hillary and the Ladybug Butterflies, today my guest was Elisabeth Revel. Again, she was the co-author of the book. Please do click on the link on the bottom of today's show page to go to her father's website, where all of the books are listed, on GaryRevel.com, and be able to check out and say, ooh, let's see what we can do next, what we can share as a service project, and definitely get our children involved in sharing the deeper thread that's in these truly New Age children's books. We thank you so much for joining us today. This is Dr. Jeanette-Gallagher, and until tomorrow, have a great day.
Today we discussed many life-changing concepts. Who do you turn to, and how do you know what is best when faced with a health crisis? Dr. Jeanette is a patient advocate. She listens to the patient, the doctors, and the family, clarifies the health issues and concerns, then helps the patient make the best choices going forward. If you would like help implementing change into your life and health, we can talk and see where you are stuck and how to improve the quality of your life. Check the link on the bottom of today's show page or visit dr-jeanette-gallagher.com to schedule a phone appointment today.